Pop made me so happy today.
Oh,
Happy Sunday.
Right?
I love it.
Happy Easter, by the way.
You got to check out that Styles and Talib. That came out, too.
We should just do the next 30 minutes on music. Although, I've got some things I need to teach you guys about some music.
Yeah, I'll be...
Welcome inside. Chauncey Billups, Jalen Rose, I'm Michelle Beadle. It is Easter. It is Sunday. It's also day 2 of the NBA playoffs. We're going to get you ready for the matchup between the Blazers and the team that a whole bunch of people have pegged as the favorites to win it all, those Golden State Warriors. Our own Jeff Van Gundy feels the Warriors won't just win it all, they're going to run away with it. He said on the Low Podcast, the Low Post podcast, the playoffs are over. I don't think the Warriors get challenged. I'd be surprised if any series went 7.
Is that the Splash Brothers will sprinkle me in the back?
Wait,
Very nice.
Hold on, any series goes 7 would surprise him? That seems like the hottest of hot takes to me.
Actually, it isn't. And I support exactly what he says. And what he's doing, he's giving a reality check to the rest of the league, is that the Golden State Warriors are the only team in the history of the league that have 2 players that have won MVP, both under the age of 30. Oh, and by the way, they both have been 50, 40, 90 guys, and they've each led the league in scoring. And they're playing on the same playoff team this year. Oh, it's going to be a problem for the Western Conference and the rest of the league.
It's going to be a problem for everybody, but I wouldn't be surprised if I seen a 7-game series for these Warriors. I mean, one, we're talking about the Spurs, who are a great team, who, you know, they won't be an easy out. And depending on if Cleveland can, start to play some defense. But I'll tell you another team that if they can continue to get that 3-ball going is the Houston Rockets. Considering if they get through Oklahoma City, that 3-ball is a deadly weapon in today's game, and they're the best in the league at it.
But also, the difference between a team like the Houston Rockets and/or the San Antonio Spurs is the Golden State Warriors are great at what both of those teams do, because they're great on the offensive end plus the defensive end. I don't know if Houston's going to be able to make threes and play defense.
Well, we know that they won't be able to do both of those.
And the San Antonio Spurs, when they can't play big consistently, that's not necessarily to their strength. And can Tony Parker play the way he played yesterday?
That was vintage TP last night.
Consistently throughout the playoffs? I don't know. I agree with JVG on this one.
So, overwhelming favorites, according to many. We've seen this happen last year, and obviously they were upset in the long run. So how you, as Steve Kerr, especially strategy-wise in that locker room, try to keep everyone at a nice mental place?
I think you got to find a way to motivate them every single game. It can't be every series. It got to be every game. It got to be something that you can point to, which will happen every single game on that tape that you can point to and say, we need to be better. In particular for these guys, they're rebounding. They need to be a better rebounding team because they usually, they shoot a high percentage. They got guys that can score every possession. But you play against a team that can really rebound the basketball. That's less shots, less possessions.
Draymond Green is huge because he's required to do so much for the Golden State Warriors. Not only lead the team in rebounds, but also in assists. Guard 4s, guard 5s, late in the shot clock, guard out on the perimeter, plus make the 3-ball to spread the floor. He's going to have a huge playoff.
Well, Oracle Arena is the site of the rematch of last year's Western Conference semifinal between the Blazers and Warriors. That series won in 5 by Golden State. For more on this series, we send it out to Lisa Salters.
Hey, Michelle, well, we just got a chance to talk to Steph Curry and asked him what's the difference between this year's Warriors team heading into the postseason and last year's team. And he said this year's team is just much more mentally and physically fresh, he said, because we weren't chasing any regular season wins record. Good point. And another good point, they've got Kevin Durant this season, and Durant got to get 3 games under his belt coming back from the MCL sprain. And according to Steph Curry, with each game that Durant got back in, he just looked better and better.
In that last game, you saw another level of aggressiveness, getting into the paint, dunking, in transition, pulling up from deep, with full confidence in his body to do what he wants to do. And so I only expect that to get better as we get into the playoffs with the intensity and the atmosphere that'll get the adrenaline flowing. And it was definitely helpful that he could get the cobwebs off as we finish out the regular season and hit the ground running game 1.
Now, Steve Kerr just told us that Durant will be playing with no minutes restriction, so expect to see him out there for his usual 30-plus minutes this afternoon. Now, as for the Trailblazers, Jusuf Nurkic, who broke his leg 2 weeks ago, there was some question about whether he would be able to play this afternoon in Game 1, but we just talked to head coach Terry Stotts, who said that Nurkic will be out, but Stotts did say that he expects Nurkic to be available at some point in this series. He said he just doesn't know when. Michelle?
Thanks, Lisa. I'd certainly like to have Nurkic out there. Time for today's Look of a Leader, brought to you by the U.S. Army. Steph Curry averaged a little over 27 points a game on 49% shooting from the floor against the Blazers this season. Jalen, can they slow him down?
They will not be able to slow him down, but Dame Dollar gonna put up big numbers as well.
It's a nice church suit.
Sure.
Steph Curry, happy Easter.
NBA Countdown.